Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will explain about Belial, known as Hell's brightest fire, Evil's match, and the King of Evil, is the 68th spirit in the Goetia, and one of the 4 crowned princes of Hell ruling over the north. After the fall of the angels, he was against God and heaven, though likely this was due to his sloth. He would eventually decide to continue to be a part of the Stygian Council and became a king of Hell. Belial is a mighty and powerful king, as he was created right after Lucifer and is of his order. His office is to distribute preferment of senatorships and to cause favor of friends or foes. He bestows excellent familiars and governs 80 legions of spirits. Whoever summons him must have offerings of gifts or sacrifices, or he will not give true answers to their demands, but even then will not spend more than 1 hour on the truth unless constrained by divine power or his seal, to be worn as a lament by the person who summons him. In the martyrdom of Isaiah, Belial is a demon of lawlessness and the ruler of this world. Belial is also the patron of secrets, domination, and seduction. He is a profane being, reveling in the pleasures and pains of the flesh. He resides in the city of Abramelech in a palace of jagged obsidian built on one lip of the caldera. Belial's name means worthless in Hebrew, and later came to represent the personification of the devil. In the Old Testament of the Bible, the word tends to be used to describe a class of people, for instance the sons of Belial. The New Testament introduces Satan as the ruler of evil, but prior to that, Belial was said to be his predecessor. In Demonology, he is one of Lucifer's most notable demons, sources recount. He was the demon that indirectly created the Nosferatu known as Count Orlok. He is also the father of the demoness Fyrna and the Cambion Aliena Roth. Before his fall from grace, Belial appeared in the form of a beautiful angel sitting in a chariot of fire and speaks with a comely voice. After his fall he became the demon of lies and guilt and is able to induce to any type of sins, especially those related to sex and lust. Sebastian Michaelis states that Belial seduces by means of arrogance, and his adversary is Saint Francis of Paula. In this sense his name is translated as Lord of Arrogance or Lord of Pride, Belial. Belial is associated with the immoral, atheists, magicians, or perhaps anyone going against the grain. Belial is the partner of the demon necromancer Nibiros and the uncle figure of Alice. The name Belial means without a master and symbolizes true independence, self-sufficiency, and personal accomplishment. Belial represents the earth element, is the master of mankind and the champion of humanity, and represents the carnal and base urges of humans, which is highly similar to Satan himself. Belial also means worthless, meaning that the children of Belial literal means the children of worthless. The word is used, in a Hebrew context, to describe many debased concepts or persons, such as those who support or encourage the worship of other gods, those who have committed sex crimes, or rabble-rousers. History: War in Heaven. Belial was one of the many great angels, a cherubim to be precise, that joined Lucifer's crusade against the Most High and the tyranny of heaven. Being of Lucifer's order, Belial was a very powerful and respected angel, and as a result was a formidable force during the war in heaven, acting as first lieutenant alongside Gothmog. He was soon defeated and cast out alongside Lucifer and the other fallen angels into the abyss, which then became Hell. Plans of attack. After establishing a kingdom within Hell, Belial was among the fallen that was part of the Stygian Council. He and his devilish cohorts debated amongst each other on what to do to strike back against God. Belial is almost a caricature of the slimy politician. His words are honeyed, his appearance pleasing, and his arguments persuasive, but his thoughts were low. He uses his oratorical gifts to counter Moloch's arguments for an immediate attack upon heaven, addressing each of Moloch's points in turn. First of all, he asserts that the whole enterprise would be not just doubtful, as Moloch characterized it, but fundamentally hopeless. Whether they attempted to sneak into heaven or launch a full frontal assault, the ultimate result would be the same. After they had done their worst, yet our great enemy, all incorruptible, would on his throne sit unpolluted, for even hell has no power to destroy that which created the world. Of course, Moloch had himself allowed a strong possibility of defeat, but claimed that even this would be better than a life of exile. Belial dismisses these claims. He does not accept that to die, to be swallowed up and lost, in the wide womb of uncreated night, would be superior to continued existence under present circumstances. This is an arguable point, being as it is something of a value judgment. More compellingly, though, he notes that the devil's present circumstance is hardly the worst that God could do to them if they angered him again. Indeed, they have already experienced much worse. After Satan's victory in tempting man, Belial was among the devils that was turned into a serpent by God in retribution. Myths and legends. Dead Sea Scrolls. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, the angel of light and the angel of darkness are mentioned. God is cited as the angel of light, and Belial the contrary. The demon was said to bring guilt and wickedness to man. The source also recounts a dream of Amram, the father of Moses, where Belial is described as the king of evil or prince of darkness. Fragments of a Zadokite work. The fragments of a Zadokite work, texts contained within the Dead Sea Scrolls, speak of the three nets of Belial: fornication, wealth and pollution of the sanctuary. He is depicted as a rebel or an agent of divine punishment and is said to be the one who influenced the Egyptian sorcerers to oppose Moses. This text also classifies any of his followers as necromancers or wizards. In the War of the Sons of Light against the Sons of Darkness, one of the Dead Sea Scrolls, Belial is the leader of the Sons of Darkness, but for corruption thou hast made Belial a king of hostility. All his dominions are in darkness, and his purpose is to bring about wickedness and guilt. All the spirits that are associated with him are but king of sweet, a type of drug. And all those who enter in the rule of the community shall establish a covenant before God in order to carry out all that he commands and in order not to stray from following him for any fear, dread or grief that might occur during the dominion of Belial. The evil and the good are two spirits that God created and put within every person. There are the angel of light and the demon of fire. The Manual of Discipline identifies the angel of light as God himself. The demon of darkness is identified in the same scroll as Belial. I shall not retain Belial within my heart. The writer of the Manual of Discipline attributes the existence of Belial and the sons of darkness to the mysteries of God, and the sons of light must be at odds with them until the time when God is set aside to come down to destroy all the injustice in the world. It is clear from the Manual of Discipline that since everything came from God, Belial came from him as well. Confusion arises as to why the scroll people believe that God created evil, since the scrolls state that he loathes the sons of darkness. God loved one of them for all eternal ages, and in all his deeds he takes pleasure forever. Of the other one he detests his advice and hates all his paths forever. This quote referring to the leader of the sons of light as Michael or Metatron and the sons of darkness as Belial. In early Christian writings, Belial was identified first as a demon of confusion and lust, created after Lucifer. Paradoxically, some apocrypha credit Belial as being the father of Lucifer and the jinn that convinced him to wage a rebellion in heaven against God, and that Belial was the first of the Satans to be expelled. The Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. One of the hidden scriptures linked to the Old Testament depicts the demon as God's adversary and places him in the role of the tempter. The texts cite that fornication brings man closer to Belial and separates him from God. It also claims that when the soul is disturbed, it is Belial ruling over it. When Egypt leaves Israel, Belial will remain with the Egyptians in darkness, the document further asserts. It also supports the view that the Messiah will punish the demon and his followers on his return. Another apocryphal, hidden, text depicts him as the angel of lawlessness and the actual ruler of earth. He is described in the text as the seducer of all the fallen angels. He is also illustrated as being extremely deceitful and only offers truth if threatened. Edgar Cayce, a Christian psychic and mystic, used the term Sons of Belial in his deep trance reading sessions in 1937. He was popularly known as the Sleeping Prophet and gave over 2,500 readings to those he induced a deep trance state in. He used the term in the Hebrew sense of worthlessness, but later used it to refer to opposing human forces. 15th century noble Gilles de Rais was said to dabble in alchemy and the occult. Sources claim de Rais attempted to call on the demon using the body parts of his victims, possibly numbering in the hundreds, as a sacrifice. The Frenchman was branded a serial killer and put to death.